Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'll be showcasing my practice method, which has helped me a lot when I was studying to learn many pieces very quickly. Basically, in university, we have weekly lessons, and every lesson the professor would request to see different pieces. And my practice method was only learn one page a day. Most of the pieces you will encounter in violin doesn't go past 8 or 9 pages. Maybe some concertos will go up to 12, but if it's that long during the lesson, you won't get to the end. So most of the time I just did what I can during the day. I will have multiple pieces and I will only learn one page, but the next day I will move on to the next page without fail, even if the first page wasn't good. And that helped me break the pieces down into very manageable sizes. And every day I usually manage to tackle down the page pretty well. And today I'll be kicking the series off with Bartok Solo VIolin Sonata, especially the first movement. Now, even though I have played this sonata before, I was around 19 at that time. To be honest, I didn't really do this piece justice. I didn't know what I was doing. I could barely subdivide at that time. My rhythm sense at that time was really bad. Thankfully, I've improved a lot since then. I haven't really played this piece again since my junior recital 12 years ago, but I'm excited to try it again. And hopefully it gives you some insight of my thought process and practice methods to help you improve in your practice as well. Let's go. So straight away, looking at the first page, what's strange is there's no key signature, even though we start straight off on a G minor chord. This piece is a very complex piece and there's so many accidentals. It's a great piece to help you learn about enharmonic notes, which is learning the multiple names of each note, and also subdivision, because it is a very rhythmically complex piece. Now obviously when you learn a piece, just try to play through it first so that you have an idea. I already played it before, so I'll just jump straight into it. The time signature is 3/4, which means there's 3 quarter notes in each bar, and you can divide that quarter notes further into 6 eighth notes. And I will be counting eighth notes most of the time internally, because the speed required for this piece is quarter note equals to 50, which is very slow if you want to keep a consistent beat. So subdividing into eighth notes means that you're actually counting at 100, which is more manageable. And 100 sounds more or less like this. But when you learn a new piece, it's always a good idea to slow down the tempo. So I will play a little bit slower as well. So this is how I would count it. 2, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. And that's how you subdivide the beginning. Now already as I'm playing in the second bar, my old fingering, if I remember correctly, was this, where I jump with my second finger. But now that I'm more experienced, I think I can play 2, 1, 3 more in tune, and I don't have to jump with my second finger like this. So this is how I would play it now. And the fourth bar, I actually had the most trouble subdividing when I was younger, but now it's much clearer. This syncopation is 2 eighth notes. 1, 2. And this is on the 3rd eighth note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this next G at the bottom is on the 5. And then D is on the 6. To make it clearer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then in bar 3, this chord here, I play it in reverse because the bass note is the continuing melody line. So this is the first line in action. And I play the last note of the run longer. It's a common practice for myself because on stage, if you don't play your up bow notes a little bit longer and connect to the next chord, it sounds very cut and separated from personal experience. So I always play a little bit longer to connect to the next bar. I learned this from playing Bach's Adagio. Where if you don't play the last note a little bit longer, it always sounds like you're cutting the notes short. So I apply it here as well. Now the second line becomes more complex, but the idea of subdividing is still the same. So 2 1 2 2 2 1 2 2 Now for the syncopations, you have to watch out a little bit because in bar 7, this syncopation here is in the form of 16 notes, 8th note, 16 notes. And then in the following bar, this one, the syncopation changes to 30-second notes. You can tell by the number of lines under the note. So 30-second notes will be much faster than 8th notes. I don't count it too precisely, but I just play it slightly faster. Now moving on to third line. This line is not just difficult in terms of rhythm anymore. The notes are also very, very difficult in terms of getting the pitch correct. So these high position notes, it's very hard to hit if you don't know what it sounds like. So you need to play very, very slowly and get used to listening to the notes. And for myself, hitting high position notes, I always imagine it in my mind first, and then I play it. I never play it without preparing ahead of time in my head first, or else it's not possible. So here I'm imagining F natural, but I'm also feeling D here. I know it's here because I'm mapping it out in my mind, where approximately I know this is third position, I know this is fifth position, and D is sixth position, one note higher than. This is how I think about it. And then F is 1 2 3, D E F 1 2 3, and this is F. Yeah, this is how you play the violin. You have to imagine the notes and like guess where it is and just pray that it's in tune. But with practice, it's possible. So this is the next note is an A, and I'm doing the same thing, just much quicker. The next note is a G. The next note is a B, which I have already found A, and B will be just one note higher here. That's how I think about it. But let me know if you have other ways of finding notes. This works for me. I just really imagine it, guess, and then Why do people play this instrument? Anyway, let's move on. The next part is the 30-second notes syncopations. Now here in this interval, it might look very difficult to play in tune, but I find that if you leave your first finger B on the string and just stretch for the F sharp without lifting up the B, then you know exactly where E will be, because B and E, B is right next to E. They are fifth. And you just stretch up pinky half step higher and stretch down index finger half step lower. This is how you play this next part. And then 30-second note syncopation again. This interval, C sharp D natural, C double sharp is a D natural. Here I actually aim for C sharp with my index finger. This is what I aim for, and I just try to find D natural on third position. This is how I think about it. And the next interval is the same, pinky half step higher, index finger half step lower. This interval here, this is how I would practice it. I would tune this B on A string with E. And I would tune this A sharp, which is a B flat. This is what enharmonic notes are. Enharmonic just means a note with two names. Every note has two names. A sharp is B flat, C sharp is D flat, so on and so forth. And this A sharp is a B flat, and I tune usually B flat with G. And that's how you know it's in tune. And that's the interval. And the same thing, pinky half step higher, index finger half step lower. And the next one is just a 10th, and this one should be fine. One thing I forgot to mention in third line, the rhythm for this, there are 4 30-second notes in an eighth note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm clicking eighth notes and I'm saying 30-second notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So ba da ti da 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 ti 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 da da ti. It's pretty simple rhythm. So this is the third line in action. I'll play from a little bit before. That was the third line. Now moving on to fourth line, the rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 da da da, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 da 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 da. It's the same. Now to hit the high notes, I don't really know how I know where those notes are. I think it's just pure muscle memory. I remember repeating this bar like thousands of times when I was younger, and that muscle memory has retained in my hand even till now. Like, I'm not trying really hard to find it, but I find them nonetheless. So practice pays off in the long run. Then come the next part. Now this I couldn't figure out for the life of me when I was younger, until I look at the bass notes, and sometimes you have to work in reverse to figure out the rhythm. If you look at the bass note, the last bass note is an A, eighth note with a rest, so that's 1 quarter note beat. The one before that is a B natural, which is also with a eighth note rest, so that's another quarter note, so that's 2 beats. So that makes whatever before that is 1 quarter note beat. Now, why is there a dot after the A? I don't know. It's so confusing. But if you look at the entire unit, it's an eighth note A with a dot, but let's ignore the dot for now. It's an eighth note A with a 16th note A with a 16th note rest. So eighth, 16, 16 adds up to a quarter. So that's one full beat. I think what happened was one of the A's that's a unison here has a dot. So one of the A is actually a dotted eighth note, and one of the A has only eighth note value, no dot. So the second A in the bass is actually on the second eighth note, is what I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Is how I would count it. 1, 2. And if I play it like that, everything adds up to 6 eighth notes, which is 3 quarter notes. And I stick by that. I think this is how you count it. I honestly don't know anymore. That's 6. Now the next part is the same syncopation. For intonation, it's the same idea. Don't lift up your first finger. And A natural is right next to E. The same, pinky half step higher, index finger half step lower. And that's line 4, and this is line 4 in action. Moving on to line 5. Now line 5, this 2 high notes looks difficult to find, but they're actually playable with harmonics. It's an E harmonic and a B harmonic. When you practice, you can just do. Now once you get used to it, then you can play. Press down a little bit to practice, so that you can do vibrato on the B. The rhythm is syncopation with 30-second notes. The double stops might be difficult for intonation, but if you really think about it, they are all the same intervals. B natural, G natural. They're close in terms of the finger distance. G sharp, E natural. Same, close. F sharp, D natural, close. D sharp, B natural, close. Close. And for the pizzicato, I don't bother doing it with my right hand. I mean, it will sound the same left or right, doesn't matter. Then for the next 3 lines, it becomes much more manageable. It's not as difficult as the beginning. The beginning is such a complex, difficult passage to work through. It took me a day, but it was a day of like 6 hours just to play through that first page and understand what's happening. And back then, I didn't actually understand what was happening. I was listening to recordings of Ivry Gitlis. Gitlis is an amazing player, but he plays freely sometimes. So like, it's very hard to figure out rhythm listening to his recording. But actually thinking about it now, he is actually very accurate in terms of how the rhythm feels. Now for the last 3 lines, the double stops, I would say ignore the A when you practice and just play the double stops. Practice the intervals for intonation. And this next part here, it's a very simple in terms of rhythm. The rhythm is simple. Da 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 da. For the notes, go to 4th position. Those 3 notes are close to each other, so if you can find one of them, there's no reason you cannot find the rest. And the next one is on 1st position, E, B flat, close. Also close. 1, 2, 3, close. For the next one here, I push my second finger close to first finger for B flat, and A natural is just A natural. And the same practice, only the double stops. Now, once you can do all that, it's time to put all the lines of the first page into action. So there you go, the first page of Bartok Solo Violin Sonata, first movement. I hope my explanation is clear and not too convoluted. I'm more used to explaining things in real life, face to face with a student. It's kind of difficult talking to a camera, so I'm not used to it yet, but hopefully in coming days I'll be more efficient and clearer with my explanations. But anyway, stay tuned for day 2 for page 2. See you tomorrow. Bye.